It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. So welcome to business. I am your host, Jamillah Lodge, and I'm pleased to have you both here. Richard Beverley, CEO and founder of Block Infrastructure, and Kurtis Wright, COO of Block Infrastructure. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. Good to be here.
Yes. So I would love it if you could first just give us a little bit of background about yourselves before we get started. So I'll start with you, Richard, and then Kurtis, you take it from there.
Sure. Our backgrounds are pretty boring for everybody who's listening.
Make it exciting.
So we all come from traditional finance, really. So
Okay.
I've spent the last 15, 20 years working for most of the big banks within the UK. It's primarily been around KYC, compliance, and money movement. So designed a lot of the high-value cross-border payment systems that move money around the world. And a lot of the compliance and verification systems that make sure nobody illegal is doing those transactions. And having that and doing that for a long time made me have the thought that actually this isn't the right way to do it. And I guess that's why I had the conversation with Kurtis 2 years ago over a beer and this adventure started.
I love it.
Yep.
So Kurtis?
So similar background to Richard. I'm a little bit older than him, so it's just 22 years I've been in banking and financial technology. I spent a decade with HSBC Group. So started in the UK, moved to Jersey, Channel Islands, spent nearly 5 years in the Middle East, split between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And then ever since then, I've worked in financial technology. So building consumer payment solutions, credit solutions, helping local businesses make payments quicker, more efficient and cheaper. And then, we were both working at a bank in London, helping them to expand and launch into Europe. And the rest is history.
So I wonder what that conversation was like over drinks, because you're working, for someone else.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you know what? I can do it better. Like, how did that go?
I think I'd had
How it was.
I think I'd had 3 or 4 beers before I said it.
Yeah.
And then I essentially said to Kurtis, I think Swift do it wrong. I think we can do it better. Do you want to have a go?
And you were like, yeah.
I was like, that's going to take me a few weeks to, how do I break it down? Where do we begin? How can we incentivize the banks to get on board? And it was a no-brainer. It was like, this is a great opportunity. We can make a big difference to local residents, business owners, but then anybody who moves money around the world. Will make it quicker and cheaper for them.
And why wouldn't you do that, right?
I like a challenge.
And here you are.
Exactly.
So we are filming this just after the Bermuda Digital Finance Forum. So you guys were down for that. There were a lot of people who were in the room, but for those who weren't, what do you think the mood is locally, from what you can tell, around digital assets and financial infrastructure?
So I guess there's 2 things I took from the call, from the forum. The first thing was actually the benefits to the locals of Bermuda. So when they were looking at the last leg stablecoin transactions, I think they're going to have a huge, huge, huge benefit for the local consumers around here. That'll allow you to get rid of the card rails and hopefully cheaper payments for everybody. I think that brings Bermuda as a whole into the 21st century. Yes. I think it's going to be incredible for everybody on the ground. And then the second thing was more focused on digital assets and where the market's going. There's a lot of innovation around digital assets, a lot of innovation coming around compliance and some of the stuff that we're trying to do. And it made me know that we are going in the right direction with what we're trying to do. It was all about data, it's all about compliance, and a lot about AI and how you can use them to basically change the world. Yeah. That was what I took from it.
Okay, and you think we're ready?
Absolutely ready. My biggest takeaway was that Bermuda is definitely one of the leading jurisdictions for digital assets, which is exactly why we're here. Before we started this, I mentioned that our Bermudian journey started in November of last year, where we met Premier Bert in London at a Bermuda BDA event, and the vision that he set, the vision that the government has, and also your local regulator, the BMA, they are open and they are embracing and they're pushing forward with digital assets. It was great to hear so many different stories at the forum, But I think the second biggest takeaway for me was last night at the payments workshop.
Yes.
You guys are getting your own Bermudan digital dollar.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
We're working hard on it.
Yeah.
But it's an exciting prospect, I think, for us.
It's brilliant.
There's a lot of people putting a lot of effort into it, and what you're doing is no small task, but I think you're further ahead than anybody else I've seen.
Really?
So credit
That's
to
good to hear.
Bermuda, credit to Penrose, credit to Coinbase.
Yeah.
They're all putting a lot of effort in here, and it shows in the sort of products they're getting to market there.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear it. And for such a small island, I think we're punching above our weight, some would say.
100%.
200%.
200%.
In a good way as well. It's great to see what's happening here. It really is.
And you're part of it because you're here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're trying to be.
Let's talk about your new product.
Okay.
Yeah? So tell me what it does, what you want to people to know about it.
Yeah, so the product that we launched this week is called Block Travel. It's a compliance tool that does pre-event screening and travel rule compliance all in one. It's built for institutional traffic, so no longer just peer-to-peer. It's now, okay, if I'm a bank and I'm wanting to work in digital assets, what have I got to do for compliance? Mm-hmm. So we basically solve those problems for them, and we solve one of the fundamental problems in the financial money movement ecosystem at the moment, and that is compliance. So we front load all of our compliance checks, and what that means is you have no market exposure in the transaction. So market exposure on the GBP USD corridor last year was 3 billion. We think we can get rid of that. So there's no more trapped money in the system. Everything flows quicker, and ultimately, when you process a transaction, you know if it's going to settle. So we call it, what we deliver is atomic compliance, which facilitates atomic settlement.
That's exciting. I'm sure for your end users there, what has been their response?
That's
So
Fantastic. Really good. We've spoken to a wide range of financial institutions, some banks, some digital asset providers, and it's all been positive. Earlier this morning, we were actually with your regulator. So we presented this solution to the BMA.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Just to be able to be invited into a regulator, sit down, present our product and service, demonstrate the value, the benefits it will bring. It was really nice.
And they're really good about that. They're pretty innovative, I would think, from a regulator. At least that's what people have told me. They're like, your regulators are not like regular regulators. They're willing to have the conversations. They're willing to be open to things, I would think, to make their jobs more easier. But their clients...
Yeah.
They're very ahead with digital assets as well.
Yeah.
So they understand the market and they understand what we're trying to do. Some of the stuff is quite complicated and quite technical.
Yeah.
So they have the skills that we need to test and bring these products to market. They're there to help us with guidance. And the BMA have been one of the better regulators we've dealt with. So really, really enjoying that sort of relationship we're building with them.
I'd love to hear
the
that.
fact we were invited in speaks for itself. Speaks for itself. And we did have some other regulators from other jurisdictions and parts of the world dial in as well. And I'm looking forward to creating this tri-party or quad, 3 or 4 other jurisdictions being involved in this.
Instead of 5 party. Okay.
So,
got to trademark that word, right? So I have here, it's a compliance oracle.
Yeah.
Tell me about that and what problem is that solving?
So a compliance oracle is essentially on the blockchain. Mm-hmm. And so it's reached out to by smart contracts. So when there is a transaction that's wanting to take place on the blockchain, built in the smart contracts, the compliance oracle is reached out to. Then we come off chain and then we do our compliance checks. So that involves bringing in data from the sending institution, the customer of the sending institution, the receiving institution, the receiving customer. And then we run zero knowledge screening against that data. So we're able to ensure that global regulations are adhered to, policy rules of each institution involved in the transaction are adhered to, without ever sharing data. And we do this all before the transaction. This is the important thing.
It sounds like a lot, but I'm certain that what you have built makes this process easy and fairly quickly for you.
It's all APIs and smart contracts.
Yeah.
So simple API to integrate with us, smart contract invoked in the process on chain.
but it's not a value that benefits us. It's a value that benefits the local population, local businesses as well. So Bermuda imports pretty much majority
Yes.
of its produce.
95%,
So
yeah.
a local importer or a supermarket who's trading in the US or importing from another country, they're paying their invoices. International money movement can sometimes take a couple of days to clear. You know, you speak to your bank, they'll tell you, okay, we'll exchange it, but we'll do it in 2 days. And then you've got the other bank who need to clear and process. What Richard's been talking about, where we front load and do all the pre-screening, all of the boring compliance checks, the background checks, we do that all up front. So we can guarantee that yes, the payment should be sent, or no, it shouldn't be sent. So rather than 2-day settlement and then waiting for process, and it could be 3-4 days, we'll be able to provide atomic settlement where money movement can settle instantaneously. So if a Bermudan's sending money to a child who's at university or wherever it is, they will gain and receive the benefits as well. Because it's lower transactional costs and lower time frame that it takes for that money to be cleared and settled.
Okay. So
everybody should gain a benefit from it.
Well, I love to hear you say that, and thank you for breaking it down like that, because I'm sure people are listening like, what and what, how
what are these guys talking about?
Literally. Some people are going to get it, but some people, like some of our clients will be like, wait, how does this apply to me and how can I use it? So from that standpoint, like what, for you, how do you see it being utilized by the local market here? And then what's your vision for it? What do you want? How do you see the adoption of the product going?
So in theory, the local customers won't really see it in action. So it's for the institutions and how they're operating behind the scenes. So what we should see is basically their inflation lowered because there's no costs baked in for market exposure. That's quite a significant segment of the cross-border payments at the moment, like 6 or 7% of it. So we'll hopefully get rid of that, and so therefore we'll have less inflationary pressure in the near to medium term. So they should see the benefit just from import-export, really.
Okay. All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully that savings gets passed on. Okay, so now it says that the product is live on the Canton network. We don't know what that is, so you have to tell us.
What is the Canton network?
Why you chose that as a place to launch it.
So the Canton network, it's been around since about 2017. It was first developed.
Okay.
And slowly over the years, its parent company is an organization called Digital Asset.
Okay.
But then there was a consortium of other tier 1 banks, HSBC, UBS, sort of large multinational banks that have got involved to build it out to what it is. And it's a permissionless blockchain.
Okay.
So it's quite unique where there's privacy layers there. There's various other layers of confidentiality. So we chose this particular platform to build and test on first.
Okay.
Because of the collective number of other financial institutions that take part. It's close to nearly 300 financial institutions. So that's banks from the Western Hemisphere, the Southern Hemisphere, Asia Pacific region, but more importantly, digital asset service providers as well.
Okay.
So I think even Franklin Templeton is now running on the Canton as well.
Okay.
So, but the beauty about what we built is it's called chain agnostic.
Yeah, I was going to,
Yeah, so what does that mean to everybody who's listening in? All blockchains are different. There's a little bit of technical code that you use to connect to the blockchains, and sometimes that can be complex. We've removed those complexity barriers so that our product and service can literally be connected and bolted onto multiple.
So it doesn't matter which chain someone's on, they can use your product.
So when your Bermudan digital dollar finally goes live, we can connect to that platform as well, and our services can be provided to support that initiative.
So when you were building it, is that what you were thinking? We need to make sure that this is chain agnostic.
It's one of the key thoughts behind it. If it's chain agnostic, it's open to everybody. Adoption should happen at scale. If we tied ourselves to a single chain and that doesn't end up being the dominant chain, then we waste a lot of effort replatforming. So we built it in a way that basically the hard work is done off chain. And then what we end up doing is we write the outcome of compliance onto chain. And so we essentially embed compliance into the settlement process instead of the way that the market operates currently, where they bolt it on after, and sometimes it doesn't always work properly, and they've got to reverse things, and it all gets a bit messy. So hopefully we're making this easy for everybody.
Did that delay the launch any, or was it just a decision that was made and you just continued on?
Cool.
I wouldn't say that delayed. No, not at all. We had to make the right decisions. We had to choose partners that we're going to be working with, not just now, but long term as well. Because what we're building is, we use the term critical market infrastructure. So it's the infrastructure and the services that's not only going to power and support your industry now, but the next 10, 15, 20 years. So we've got to have that partner that's right for immediately now, but longevity as well.
I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, right? But I would imagine that other people are not chain agnostic and are built for one type of solution. So the fact
And
that
they're
you did
stuck
that,
and it's singular
Yeah, it's
and it
stuck.
doesn't transfer anywhere
Yeah.
else. So
you guys are geniuses.
Yeah, maybe.
So I would love for you to just walk us through what actually happens at the point of transaction when your compliance oracle is running.
Yeah, not a problem. So what we have, let's assume there is two institutions on the network acting on behalf of customers. So they want to do a transaction. Maybe they want to pay Kurtis $100. They write the transaction, and then when they send the transaction, the smart contract on the oracle invokes block travel. Block travel then runs in the background, and what that means is it gathers information on the sender, the sending institution, the receiver, the receiving institution. Then it runs zero knowledge screening against all of those parties, making sure none of them are on global sanctions lists, regulatory blacklists, wallet blacklists, links to the dark web. We choose data off chain, so on-chain data that impacts that as well. And then once we've run that screening, we take care of travel rule protocol. So we'll pass the correct information required to be travel rule compliant. And then once the screening's checked and passed, we'll write the outcome of screening onto chain with a simple pass on travel rule and pass on compliance. And then atomically we invoke settlement. So what this means is compliance and settlement occurs in the same transaction, meaning there's no market exposure. From a regulatory perspective, you see the outcome of the compliance and the travel rule compliance on chain, so you know that it's been happening, and therefore we've got regulatory auditability.
But what if compliance fails?
If compliance fails, there's kind of like an intermediary phase where we can look at having a workflow invoked where you can review the transaction, and then the institution who's put the block on the transaction can override if they want, or they can keep the incomplete transaction. But what we're looking to do long term is invoke AI into that. And through AI and the use of the KYC data that we use, which is kind of our proprietary IP, we think we can get to a 99.99% processing rate. And when you start getting up to that, you're essentially systematically processing and moving away from the manual intervention. And that is where the market is going. That's where we are going.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be almost foolproof, basically. That's what I heard. But that's to put it for the layperson, right? But that's great, though. That's great. I'm sure that it creates an opportunity for the banks and the people who are going to be using the software to be able to get money to whomever needs the money quicker, safer, and hopefully for less cost.
Yeah, so the end user and consumer should see the savings when the banks start passing them on. But also, like, we're going to stop bad actors, criminals being able to use the financial services and money markets ecosystems to basically launder their money. The goal here is to protect consumers, stop financial crime, and also make payments cheap. So some of the stuff we do, again, using some of our IP for KYC, you'll actually understand who is doing the transaction, not just what the payment message says. So people may be trying to hide who's really involved in the transaction through corporate structures, businesses, but through our KYC and the way we use that, you will understand who's meaning to transact. So therefore you will block it rather than letting certain transactions pass through that wouldn't get picked up by the current systems.
Okay. So in a scenario where the transaction is blocked, like what actually happens?
So I'll give you an example. Like a business with a large corporate structure.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin may be part of that business through a corporate structure. He may be a shareholder, a beneficial owner of it. He may have like 5-6% shareholding in it. Currently, if you sent a normal Swift message or just a travel rule message, you'd get a name and a wallet. Mm-hmm. And that name would be ABC Limited. That might be the business name. And then you'd get a wallet address or an account and a sort code. That doesn't show any links to Vladimir Putin. But through basically the way we use KYC in corporate structures, you'd understand that he actually is an owner of that business, and therefore you'd block that transaction.
Okay.
So we're much smarter about the way that we do things.
Okay. So for a lot of our stakeholders are small and medium-sized businesses, right? Mm-hmm. So some of what you're saying is probably like, what is that? They're going to need some type of manual afterwards. They'll be playing it back to try to figure it out. What do you want them to know?
That we're here to provide benefit and value.
Okay.
To local residents who will have retail bank accounts with one of the top 4 banks here, mm-hmm. business owners as well. As we've touched on, the ability to move money cheaper mm-hmm. and atomically, that'll bring benefits and value here. The last meeting we had before coming here for this podcast, we met with one of your government agencies, and we were talking about another product and service that we have that can help to prevent local Bermudians and stopping them from having their identity stolen, mm-hmm. account takeover theft. We weren't able to get into the numbers and the statistics, but back home in the UK, it's pretty crazy the amount of account takeover theft. Yeah. And that's impact to me, you,
right?
You know, local people, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. and the stress and the headaches that it causes as a knock-on effect from mm-hmm. that, as being a victim of financial crime. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the other services we're planning to introduce here should provide that level of consumer protection for residents and for business owners as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. We'll look forward to that one. Yes. Come back when you launch that. So I do want to talk about like what ultimately from a block infrastructure perspective, are you just going to keep pumping out the new products as and when needed? What is the
It takes a lot of hard work to build one.
What's the plan?
So we have 4 in total, and I think that's enough.
Are you sure?
Yeah. The 2 that are going to market is Block Travel and Block ID.
Okay.
The others aren't going to market anytime soon. So Block Travel is digital asset compliance. We want to establish the tech there.
Right.
Prove this works. Prove it gets rid of market exposure. Prove we stop illicit transactions. That's what we want to do first.
Okay.
We may then go into the fiat markets and show how the same sort of rule set and the same system can change the fiat market. But we're going to test it in DeFi first.
Okay. That makes
and then
sense.
The other product, which we've said we'll go live with at the end of this year, is Block ID. Mm-hmm. And Block ID is the KYC token network Kurtis has talked about. And that's around stopping account opening fraud, mm-hmm. sharing KYC data. You'll notice KYC data comes up a lot on this.
Yeah, it does.
And through sharing data, monetizing data, and turn it into a new asset class. That's mm-hmm. something we want to try and do this year as well. And that's another big step forward.
I was going to say,
quite interested in.
Pretty big.
Yeah. Another benefit that will bring locally as well. Out of all of the meetings that we've had here and many people we've spoken to on Teams before coming over here, we kind of heard a reoccurring theme and mm-hmm. a problem that, I go to open a new bank account or I go to get a product with another bank, it can take 2 months mm-hmm. to get a bank account open, or it will take several weeks, which through the adoption of Block ID and the ability to safely and securely mm-hmm. share KYC data, the same principle of what we've been talking about with money movement should apply to the opening of financial services products as well. So that should be a secondary benefit and value where it should make financial services more accessible to people because we can streamline that onboarding process.
Yeah, if you can make that happen quicker, that's great.
There's a lot that we're trying to achieve.
So you did talk about KYC, and that it's kind of at the heart of both products. Yeah. So how does your product use the data, and what makes your approach different from what other institutions are doing?
So we'll keep it on block travel. I think we've delved into block ID enough.
Yeah. Okay.
So block travel currently, the way that the market operates, they just use payments messaging. So that, as I said, is just wallet name associated to wallet. We use KYC data to enrich that screening process around it. So the idea of that is, if there's a held payment at the moment, there's a manual investigation around it. And what happens around there is they do a lot of investigations, they gather KYC data, they understand who is doing the transaction, and then they process it and go, okay, this was a false positive, let's let it go. What we do is we use the KYC data up front. So therefore, again, we understand who is involved in the transactions, and therefore we systematically process without manual investigations. The goal of this is to get rid of those manual investigations. Those 4-hour, 6-hour, 24-hour, 48-hour holds caused by the analysts doing their investigatory work, that's what costs money in this transaction. We're wanting rid of that, so everything's systematically processing. And that should allow basically, as I said, cheaper payments for those in the consumers at the end, but also we'll identify those who are actually committing crime. So we'll protect the world by also saving the world.
I mean, why not? I mean, these are real threats, right? That need, and you found the solution to do it, an 100%. Entrepreneurial solution to do it. So I think that's great. I would love to know, from the time you sat down and had the drink and decided you were going to go on this journey, how long it took before we got here to the launch.
I guess it's been 2 years pretty much now.
Yeah, just coming up to 2 years. But I think our connection with Bermuda, I touched on it briefly.
Yeah.
So it started back in November in London last year when we met Premier Burt, met with some of the team from the BDA. We stayed in contact, lots of introductions were made. And I think it's probably a couple of weeks into the engagement with Bermuda, we realised, okay, these guys are quite ahead. And they're open to these somewhat crazy ideas. Some people might think that we got. But so...
Crazy but necessary.
Absolutely. Necessary in the world that we live in.
Yes.
Yeah. That they are needed. It's protecting consumers at the end of the day. So, 2 years as a business to get to this point.
Okay.
But we're looking at, 7-8 months in terms of our Bermudan journey.
Okay.
We're hoping to establish and set up here. The plan was, and it always was, that Bermuda could potentially be a North Atlantic and a regional hub. So we're based in the UK and in Guernsey Channel Islands, but we wanted a North Atlantic base that we can call home for block infrastructure that will service the local population, but then also other countries and jurisdictions very close to here as well.
Right.
So we're hoping that we can make that happen here.
Well, we hope so too.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've enjoyed it. You got to see why you should be here.
Yes.
The jurisdiction.
I was expecting a little bit more sunshine, I'm not going to lie.
Well, listen now. Hold on a second. Don't worry. You have to come back for that.
Absolutely.
This is just a taster. Yes. You have to come back when the sunshine is actually out. Then you will never want to leave, I promise.
We'll absolutely be coming back.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, it's good, I think, for Bermuda. It's good that you recognize this jurisdiction, this little tiny island, as a key player in what you're trying to do in the launch of your product. Yeah. We appreciate that. We like to be at the forefront. So as we wrap up, I would love for you, I know you have a lot of traveling to do before we got started.
Yeah.
You're making the rounds, but that's part of the process, right? You got to let people know that this is here. But what ultimately would you like to see happen for block infrastructure? Like, when will you know you're like, we've arrived, I don't have to do as much traveling, I can settle down and relax a little bit. Is that happening?
When we've arrived is when we've got institutional traffic working at scale on the network. When we are taking care of the big problem for the big institutions, that's when we've arrived, and that's when we have got where we want to get to. So by that point, what I'd hope is we are the dominant compliance tool on the Canton network. Everybody understands the benefits of pre-screening compliance. And then we're also across multiple chains, gathering information, data from everything, getting really smart in our use of AI in the transaction. Yeah, that's when we've made it, when we're dominant in the institutional market.
Okay.
And in multiple jurisdictions as well. So we're hoping to start with the UK, the Crown Dependencies. So that's the Isle of Man, Jersey and Guernsey. Obviously, there's a big connection here to Bermuda as well. So we'll look to set up operations here, and then we'll grow and scale that out. A lot of the banks and institutions we're speaking to, they also operate in multiple jurisdictions as well. So it just so happens one of your biggest banks here is the biggest bank where I live as well. So there's very good symbiotic relationships.
Yes.
And a lot of positives in what we're doing.
Okay.
And also all the government engagements as well.
Right. And we're on board. We want to see this happen. So I'm sure that helps. I really appreciate you for coming and talking to me about this.
Thank you for having us.
It's
exciting.
Thank you
Look,
for
I
having
think
us.
I learned something today. So
hopefully we've not bored all of the listeners.
No, it's
We've
not
broken it down a
boring.
little bit.
It's exciting,
You know,
right?
when you watch the podcast ratings and everybody drops off after about 3 minutes.
No.
All
No,
prior
it's not.
podcasts were trending. This one has dropped.
But what I would ask is, so for people who are listening, who are like me and are like just trying to understand everything that you're saying, how can they find out more? Where do they go to find out more about block infrastructure?
So our website is www.block, all one word, -infrastructure.com. So there's all product details on there. We're starting to be pretty active on LinkedIn for professional networks. So you can find, again, Block Infrastructure is listed there as a company. You can find ourselves by searching Richard Beverley, Kurtis Wright. Hopefully, there's a lot of interest that comes from this podcast.
Yes, I hope so.
So listeners out there, if you're working in compliance, you work at financial institutions, you understand the benefits of what we're talking about, feel free to reach out. Likewise with business owners as well. If they want to reach out, this makes sense, I can see the value. The more interaction and engagement we have, we can then go to the banks, a regulator, and say, hey,
See, look.
yeah, these guys, they want it. You know, the local population understands the benefit and the value. We need you on board and we need the support to make this happen here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
If it resonates with anybody who's listened, please reach out.
yes. Well, let's say like and subscribe.
Yes.
We'll
Hit the button down.
We'll post this on the Twitter and our LinkedIn pages once it comes out as well.
Perfect.
Yes.
Listen, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed
Thank
this
you.
conversation, and I'm
Good.
looking forward to you coming back because we got to show you Bermuda is the place to be. I don't know what the sun is doing.
I'm going to get some golf and surfing next time out.
Yes, for sure. Guaranteed. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure was ours.
No, likewise.
And I want to say, remember, if you don't mind your business, who will? Okay.
Exactly.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.